Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. I'm RJ Clifford. He's Juan Soto. We're going to have some fun today. Just 59 days away till Raiders Chargers. That's less than 2 months if I whip out my trusty NASA calculator.
It's getting close, man. We're getting close to, only a couple weeks away from training camp starting.
A week and a half from training camp.
Yeah, it's like
right there.
It's getting really, really close.
Training camp's just like 20 minutes from where we're sitting right now. And then it's in LA, right? It's in
LA, yeah.
In LA, right? We're away. We're home, but away. We're away, but home.
Something like that. It's
timing close and geographically close. When everything's geographically close, I feel like it's timely closer. That's how my brain works.
Yeah, it just feels like, honestly, like that little bump when you go up to remember Colossus, that old roller coaster, the wooden one at Six Flags?
Yeah. Magic
so
Mountain.
You get up and you get that little bump, like dunk, and then you go, right? It's like that little bump is the preseason or the training camp, because training camp starts and then boom, right away there's football almost right away. Next week, the teams that are playing in the Hall of Fame Bowl start training camp next week, and then everyone else the week after. But I mean, once that starts, it's like games, news, injuries, signings, depth charts, trades, this, that, boom, boom, and it's just like this is the dead period. Just enjoy it while you can. Because you're just going to be bombarded with news.
Yeah, we're right now we're just having real nice missionary sex with football, and we're going to be getting bukkakied here in about 10 days.
I don't know about this wee business.
I'm trying to put it in terms that you can understand, Soto. I'm trying to explain it in ways it's like real life experience, you know?
In Nagasaki, they love bukkake.
Just because it rhymes. Just real quick, we're recording this Wednesday night like normal. Do you see this Copa America
fucking brawl, dude?
Soccer brawl?
Yeah.
Well, I was seeing all the links on Twitter and stuff. I was not clicking, just kind of threading. It's oh my gosh, wild brawl! Holy crap! I can't believe what I'm seeing. New crazy angle of the brawl. So I'm okay. I'm not a soccer guy. So I'm okay, I'll watch. Let's see what this brawl's all about.
You're holy crap! That's a big ass brawl.
It's big in terms of massive human. But no one's getting hurt. There's no blood. There's no
I just don't think we're seeing a lot of that. I think
there's people 5 feet away are just standing there, arms folded, just looking. Basically, what I'm trying to say is soccer people can't fight. You can't.
I don't know, man.
I was literally keyboard warrior, getting ready to crack my knuckles and be do. Yeah, you guys can't fight for shit. Because I have this big thing where a man needs to be able to throw a punch, and if you can't, I look at you as a guy who can't throw a baseball. You know what I mean? You're just
ooh, that's tough.
Yeah, it's you have to have an automatic transmission. Okay.
Well, I look at it this way: those stadium fights are tough because of the angles, because of you can't really get good footing because there's just seats everywhere. Mm-hmm. Maybe some beer spilled and it's kind of slippery and people are grabbing at you and stuff. But in soccer brawls, it's different from a football stadium, because a football stadium, people really, honestly, truly, most people just want to stay out of it.
Yeah. Right.
In the soccer fights, it's just, and the more people that join, the harder it is to throw a clean punch.
Mm-hmm.
There's just people pushing at you, pulling at you, trying to pull you back, trying to, rip your face off. It's just hard to land clean punches when it's literally, I'm not joking. It's at least 30 people were in this fight.
It's also the environment matters, because you get this because it's South Americans, right? These Latin Americans are fucking passionate about their soccer, right? It's country versus country.
And these countries are bordering each other that are playing.
It's true rivalries, right? It's America and Canada hockey rivalry. It's okay, that's not really a rivalry. Argentina and Colombia soccer rivalry. That's Sharks and the Jets, right? And so you get this Waffle House at 3 a.m. energy happening there that you don't get in NFL's. There's plenty of we could talk NFL stadium fights all day long. There's tons of them, but it's rarely deeply passionate. I don't give a fuck if I get knocked out. I have to get my lick in because I'm just so pissed. And even with that energy, Soto, you've got these like Uruguayans just like kind of gently slapping each other. You're like, yeah.
It's just it would be different if there was not in a like a stadium seat setting. Because some of these other stadiums, they have like that big flat part in between the seats and the players. Mm-hmm. And when they get down there, I mean, those are some straight brawls. But it's just it wasn't impressive as far as like you didn't see a clean punch land. Oh wow, he did this and he turned his hip and this and that and all this other. No, you didn't see that. But it was impressive because it was like literally 30, 40 people.
I love like fight training should be way like, you know, right now it's like MMA is like the big fight training, right? So it's like, oh, you're in a cage and you have 5-ounce gloves and these are the rules, right? Like the most realistic way to fight, like that I would want to fight someone, like the places I'm most likely to get in a fight where I wish I was trained to be good at fighting would be like in a stadium. Like, how do I fight when that's like alternate terrain? I'm surrounded by a massive human. My blood alcohol levels like a, 0.21. I have a big like Maxx Crosby jersey on. Like, I want to be able to fight in that situation. Like, have you seen those car jiu-jitsu where guys are like they start the match, one guy's in the driver's seat, one guy's in the passenger seat, and they just go at it? That's like way more realistic of a fight environment than an MMA fight.
Yeah, just put somebody in a hallway. Just put two guys in the hallway.
Yeah, like hallway, close elevator, quarters. NFL stadium. That would be a really good. That should be a question of the day at some point.
I got to go find an elevator once.
Yeah, like where's the most like where would you be? Where's the best place to spend your MMA training? Like bar would be number one. Like the Boss Rutan fight tapes. Remember those? Bang it to bang it to bang. Oh, looky look. There's the corner of the table. Bang. I'm going to break your legs.
He was so funny. He had like these little one-liners.
Oh, he's the best. He still is. Talk about him like he's dead. Still the king.
I mean, he's not on TV anymore, really.
Speaking of the king, I would say I'm trying to decide like Davante Adams and Maxx Crosby. I don't think we can say one of them is the absolute. It's one of those. We can agree one of those two are the leaders of the team, right? Davante and Maxx, right? 1 and 2, 1A, 1B in whatever order, right? Like whoever number 3, right? Whoever number 3 is a very distant 3.
For sure.
In that roster, right? Okay. So I'm trying to think like is Davante seems like the elder statesman, whereas Maxx Crosby feels like the heart and soul of the team.
I can get along with that.
That sound accurate? Like I feel like if someone's going to like call a meeting, it's going to be Davante, but who does everyone look to when you're on the battlefield? It's going to be Maxx, type of thing.
I think honestly, and
not that it's like a rivalry, right? Where they're fighting.
Not at all.
Nothing like that. It's just kind of just like naturally those are their roles and they're just being themselves.
I think that people look to Davante and they see Davante deferring to Maxx, and so then they do it. But they're looking at Davante first to see what he does because he's, the veteran.
So I think Davante he's so smart. He's seen all this stuff. He does everything with intention. Like you go through like all the decisions he's made, and if he even wants to defend it, he gives you this like step-by-step breakdown of why he does it. Whereas Maxx is just like, I'm going to fucking run through 1,000,000 brick walls until we win a Super Bowl. Right? It's like I would want like if I needed someone to like pick me up at 3 a.m. because I crashed my car, I'd call Maxx. If I want someone to go with me to apply for a loan, it'd be Davante. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it just seems like Davante has a little his approach lends it to a little bit more like of a teaching aspect. Like, hey, this is what I've been through, kind of a thinking man. Whereas Maxx Crosby's like, hey man, you guys are more than welcome to come along, but I'm going to be doing my thing.
Yeah. Just stay in my wake. We'll get there.
Yeah.
The reason why I brought this up is Davante.
Why did you bring it up?
I brought this up for a reason. This is the reason. I'll tell you the reason. Want to know the reason? Here's the reason. Davante Adams was asked in a recent interview. I think it was Up and Adams he was on. No. Speak on FS1, that one. And he was asked, who do you think, in the quarterback situation going on right now? That's the number one thing going on in Raider Nation right now. Who's going to be the starting quarterback? Gardner Minshew, Aidan O'Connell. I mean, there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of things to discuss. That's number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Whenever number 6 is a distant number 6, right? Mm-hmm. And so Davante Adams, being the elder statesman, as we've just nominated and delineated him, Davante said, I want whoever's going to look the best when it's live bullets. I think right now, if I had to say, I think Aidan has the job.
Yeah, man.
And, it's not Davante's decision to make. And he's acknowledging it's early. But when you have a head start,
every little bit's going to count, man.
Well, it's not just a head start, but you do now technically have to be dethroned. You know what I mean? Like, not that it's impossible, right? But like, that is a thing, right? If you're going, like, they're getting equal number of snaps, okay, but someone's getting snap number 1. Someone's like the very first snap of the day. That's somebody, and it's Aidan O'Connell. So something has to change for Gardner Minshew to be QB1, which is a big deal. It's no small thing.
For sure. Well, look, you can look at it in one of two ways. An edge can be had by Farva because he is more familiar with the targets. He's more familiar with the weapons, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone except for Bowers and
Gallup.
Yeah. Everyone else he's thrown to, I mean, probably over the offseason, like last season into the offseason. So that counts for a lot. I think that Uncle Rico may have a little bit of an advantage because he's seen so many pro-style offenses that he's probably picked up a lot of this stuff along the way in a lot of the places where he's been. And Farva said it himself. He only had one offensive coordinator his entire college career, and he had 2 his rookie season in the NFL.
And he was in college for like 13 years.
Yeah, he was in college for like 6 years, and he only had one offensive coordinator. So even though it was a pro-ish style offense, it wasn't an NFL offense. Yeah. And
for context, Derek Carr didn't even have 3 straight seasons of the same offensive coordinator in his entire career, right?
In his entire career.
In college, he had, and Aidan had that.
Yeah, so it's going to be basically who the coaching staff has a higher comfort level in. And hopefully, I mean, I said it a couple episodes ago, hopefully it's sooner than later they pick one and just roll with it until the other person. If it's close, I would just go with Aidan because I think because Davante likes him. That's probably the only reason you really need. If it's close. And I like you were talking about, and you've said a bunch of times, we've seen what Minshew gives us. We know what we're going to get from him. Okay, Aidan, we haven't seen his ceiling yet. So let's go throw him out there. Same thing we said last year. Like, why are we putting Hoyer in there when you can get Aidan in there and he's going to get better and better?
Well, a young player like Hoyer, those reps can be so precious, It's really like an experience for a 17-year fucking veteran. God, it made no sense.
Yeah, it really didn't.
I just really wonder how much the team will make part of this decision, right? So when Davante speaks on the record, hey, I think it's Aidan right now. I want to know what level of gravity that holds because I think it's a lot. You have a brand new rookie head coach who's brand new to head coaching, right? He's only been a coach of any form for like 4 years, 5 years at any form, right? Most of that was in college.
See, he was 3 years in college, 2 years with the Raiders, or the second year with the Raiders. That's 5, and he was 3 or 4 years at Long Beach Poly.
Yeah. So was that seven total years?
Yeah, something like that.
The vast majority of it amateur, right? And he's brand new, technically a rookie, right? More or less. I really feel like the team's going to make this decision. Honestly. Like, I think it'll be like, I don't think AP is going to go against the team.
Well, yeah, I said this a long time ago. Like, it's Aidan's job to lose because he's the incumbent. And I know what AP said, oh, we're going to have a battle. But he also said, we're going to give Aidan some competition.
Yeah.
So basically, you have to have, you can't just put both guys at 1 and 1A. There's going to be a 1 and a 2. And even though you paid Minshew the money, and everyone that I'm hearing, every single person that I'm hearing is like, oh, he'll start. Minshew will start. Like, it's a foregone conclusion. And he very well may end up starting. But I don't think it's as open and shut as, oh, they gave Minshew the money, he's going to start. Because
if Minshew doesn't start, it will shatter a couple like paradigms, right? Like, how many of the 32 NFL teams, how much is that giant of a pay gap? Minshew's like 15 mil. Farva, what does a second year, 4th round quarterback make? Less than 2 mil, right?
He's not. Is he over $1 million?
Maybe even I
don't even think he's over $1 million.
He's lucky if there's 2 commas, right, in his salary. How often does that pay gap have the cheaper guy start, right? Not very often, which is true, right? Okay, like that's a
unique breaker. Situation we have here.
Yeah, it would have. Yeah, like it's literally this thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's very rare where that happens. Luke Getsy loves a mobile quarterback, and there's no question who is superior in that element, right?
Mm-hmm. So
I think there's like some big stamps that make it look like Gardner, in general terms, would be it. And so we've talked about on this show 100 times. Like, when you're taking a snapshot, right? If you're a national writer and you're looking at all 32 teams, you're looking at the snapshots. Who's making more money? What is the offensive coordinator like? You're like, okay, it makes sense for Minshew to be the guy. Mm-hmm. But then you go into AP's probably going to go with what the team wants. AP's been pushing Aidan for a while. Davante just said, yeah, it's Aidan right now. And again, if Gardner Minshew's better, like we all in agreement, like, yeah, he's taken over. But if it's even remotely close, you
got to go O'Connell. But yeah, look, and this is one thing that I started thinking about maybe a couple days ago. Davante Adams knows this offense inside and out, right? So he knows what quarterback would best run this offense because he's been in the offense. He was in the offense for a lot of years. He can also get into Getsy's ear of, hey, this is what Aidan O'Connell can do. That let's say that's kind of let's say Aaron Rodgers-esque. He can make these throws. He's good at doing this. And he can speak to Getsy in that language of the offense. He can say he can do this. He can do these throws. He can do this. This combination works well with him. He can make all this stuff. So he can, because he's worked with him before, so he can talk up Aidan O'Connell a little bit more than he, let's say, could a Minshew, because Davante doesn't even really know Minshew. He hasn't really played with him. I
can just imagine when Aidan O'Connell got this, heard of this news, right? Like, I don't see him as like a big like Instagram guy who just like stumbles on it, but like his like buddy like hits him up. He's like, hey, Farva. I wonder if his buddies call him Farva. Probably not. Hey, Aidan, Davante Adams says it's your job right now. Boy, he's walking fucking chest out all day. Davante Adams saying it's like, oh yeah, this like, $15 million quarterback, 7-year veteran that was brought in. No, you're over him, and we're not even on training camp yet. Yeah,
he's getting into practice like maybe a half hour early. He's working a little bit harder. That's what I've heard of him. He's one of those guys that just goes in there and works. So it's a good culture to have when your leader is a notoriously tireless worker. It kind of just makes everybody want to be like that.
So that's the 4th round rookie from last year. The 1st round pick from last year, Tyree Wilson. Obviously, extremely underwhelming rookie year. But if you were listening to this show, we said, like, look, that's to be expected. He was already he was already drafted as a project, as a physical specimen that needs to be developed, and he was hurt. So he's going to come in behind the 8 ball multiple times. So we're like, all right, let's give this the rookie year kind of it. I don't like to give guys passes on my team. I don't like to say like, oh, well, he's got this going against him. It's okay, buddy. It's like, you're a fucking professional. Deliver, right? You're like, it's your job to overcome hard things, right? But Tyree Wilson had a lot going against him, and it's like, okay. And even under those standards, it's a pretty underwhelming rookie season. So when PFF went over the 10 NFL players under pressure the most, Tyree Wilson made the list, not surprisingly, unsurprisingly. We'll get into that in a minute. Wilson's draft position was a big question mark until the Raiders made him the number 7 overall pick, and the most concerning thing about his rookie year was actually that he saw quite a lot of playing time. He was so anonymous within games, the tendency is to assume he didn't feature much, but he played 493 total snaps, rushed the passer 308 times, and notched just 24 total pressures. He posted just a 50.4 PFF pass rushing grade and won only 6.4% of his pass rush attempts. I forgot how much he played last season because he produced so little. By any measure, this is an extremely poor rookie season for a player who was always more of an athletic project than some other pass rushers in the draft. Wilson now needs to take a big step forward in the offseason to avoid going down as yet another Raiders first-round miss. Ain't that the truth?
Tell me about it.
But this is my thing. Is he under pressure for himself? Clearly. Absolutely. Right? You have to prove, last year, I was a rookie, I was hurt, I'm a project. It's like for Tyree Wilson himself to make a career and to be somebody and to not be a flameout, the pressure is monstrous. But for the Raiders as a team, we're pretty stacked at the position. Like, he's not even starting. He won't even be like a giant rotational guy because Maxx is going to take 99% of all the snaps. So again, do we want him to deliver? Do we want him to be awesome? Should he be awesome? Would that be great? Both at end and at tackle? Like, yes. But is the defense hinging on Tyree Wilson's production? Like, is the defensive line as a unit not going to reach their potential unless Tyree Wilson takes a giant step? I don't think so.
I mean, is the defense going to reach their potential unless Tyree Wilson takes a giant step? I don't think they will. I think they need players like Tyree Wilson to step up. I don't think it's going to be as easy as 1, 2, 3, just because you have Crosby and Wilkinson. Like, you still have to beat the man in front of you to make plays. So Tyree Wilson does need to step up for this Raiders team to, be that potentially top 5 defense in the NFL. He needs to perform. He needs to perform well. And there's a few things that go into it when we talk about first round misses. You have to replace that production from somewhere, or just trot out an inferior player like we did with Cleveland Farrell those 4 years he was with us, right? So you have one of the two things. Keep throwing out a guy who just isn't that good, or replace that production with someone else, which means you have to pay someone else on top of the guaranteed money. You're paying that first round pick with top 10 money. It's a double whammy, right? So that takes away from other parts of the team. So yes, I do think that if him not reaching his potential is going to hurt this defense from reaching their potential.
Well, we want him to be better, and obviously if he's better, the team's better. But is he even... Put it this way. If we rank all the players on the defense of whose play is essential to the defense succeeding, is he even top 10? Like,
I think when you take a look at the salary that he's going to be paid and what you have to do to replace that player, because it's going to be difficult to find a player that a veteran player that you're paying that money, that first rounder money to replace him by himself. So you're going to have to get a couple of guys to replace, if he's not playing the way he needs to play. So this is the kind of hole that we fell into a lot of years with like the Gruden Mayock thing. Oh yeah, well the 3 out of the 6 guys they drafted ended up being Pro Bowlers. Well, yeah, the 3 highest paid guys were shit, and we had to pay 5-6 guys to get the production that these guys weren't getting. So it was costing
undrafted free agent Pro Bowler. It's like, yeah, he's a fullback. Like,
yeah, and a punter,
nothing. Like, great,
and a punter.
Like,
yeah, sweet. That's the issue that I'm seeing here is monetarily it hurts your team. Ask Denver how they're doing, paying Russell Wilson $42 million to not play on the team and not having that money to fill other holes. That's what I'm talking about. Is you're paying all this money for an underproducing player. It's going to hurt you in other places. So yes, I think he is an integral piece that needs to step forward big for us to be in that upper echelon of defenses.
I disagree that he's that important to the defense succeeding. I think if he play, look, the defense was amazing last season with him being anonymous. Like, if he plays better, obviously we're better. His cap hit next season is $5.6 million. Not pennies, but not a giant deal. I think there's way more players on the defense that are way more important to the defense succeeding than Tyree Wilson. Like, everyone's important. From the 53rd guy on the roster, we need him to produce. But he's certainly near as important to the team succeeding as Maxx Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Malcolm Kuntz, Spillane, Jones. I would say 4 of the 5 DBs, right? I think they're all more important. So to have like a producing rotational D end is great, but the defense succeeded without him last season, and we should be better this season with or without him.
So I don't want to be the wet blanket, but
wet me up.
Antonio Pierce played a lot of backup quarterbacks last season. Okay. I think that maybe
fair point.
Maybe the amount of snaps that Maxx plays kind of fools us into thinking that Kuntz plays the same amount. Who's our third pass rusher? We need Tyree Wilson to step up. We need him to be more than what he was before. We need him to do that because you need to have that third pass rushing guy.
Well, I guess my big question is, what's the ceiling if Tyree Wilson plays the same this upcoming season as he did last season? What's the defensive ceiling if Tyree Wilson's the same guy?
It's
hard to say. It's a tough question. I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah, but I think that, I have an answer for you. I think it's almost impossible for us to be a top 10 defense. And I'm just talking about scoring. That's the only thing that matters is how many points you allow. I don't care how many, how are you on third down and then whatever. How many points do they put up on the board against you? It's going to be difficult without that third pass rusher because I don't see anyone else being that guy.
Not likely. I mean, we got lucky with Kuntz coming out of nowhere and being a force, right?
Kuntz didn't come out of nowhere. He just got more time. He was percentage-wise, he was very similar to what he's been. He just didn't get a chance to be.
But that counts. Like, neither you nor I was like, Kuntz is going to be the next big thing for us. He just needs playing time. You know what I mean?
I think we both said that if he can get more playing time and have a similar percentage rate of wins and tackles for loss and hits on the quarterback, stuff like that, that he could be something much better than what he's shown. And he did. He got the opportunity and he killed it. So we still need that third guy. And I don't see us being able to stop the best of the best week in and week out with as long as this season is and as many players that need to be a lot of these top defenses have multiple guys they throw at you. There's not like, it's Kuntz and Wilson on the outside on this play. Okay, I think we're going to be okay. Like, no, these guys throw multiple guys at you.
I'm not trying to give it past Tyree. I'm not trying to say that having him produce isn't amazing. I just don't believe that our defense hinges on him at all. I don't think it hinges on him. He can improve it, and him being bad is not good. But I don't think this defense hinges on him the way kind of like PFF is saying the type of pressure that he's under. He's under for himself because of how bad his rookie year was. But
let me put it to you this way: with the shape that our secondary is in, and we talked about this for several weeks now or months. Our defense is going to go as our defensive line goes. It's up to our defensive line to put pressure on these quarterbacks, to stop these running backs in the backfield, to wreak havoc, to help this subpar secondary collectively. Mm-hmm. That's going to take everybody on the defensive line to be at their best. And he's part of that. And he's one of the guys that's going to play more often than not.
I wonder if Patrick Graham's going to scheme to help him produce, or scheme and say you have to fit what we're doing. Because oftentimes when you have like we're expecting Getsy to scheme for Brock Bowers, right? Not 100% of the time, right? But like we're spending this kind of draft capital on this guy. The ceiling is extremely high. You need to adjust your scheme to work for Brock Bowers, especially a guy who's a tight end, but isn't a true tight end. You don't just line him up next to the tackle every play, and half the time he blocks, half the time he runs a route. Like that's not how you get the most out of Brock. I wonder what Patrick Graham's going to do with Tyree Wilson. Is it just like, this is my scheme. My scheme is brilliant. This isn't PG being cocky. It's the truth. Or he's like, well, we spent a 7th overall pick on this guy. Let me put him in a position to succeed. I wonder.
Either way, he still has to make the play. In either case, it's not like a scheme is going to get him stats. Like he still has to go out there and do it. And
well, I mean, but you can scheme a guy for success, right? Like he can be the guy that's the stunt, right? Like you've got guys, you're putting him in position on a confused tackle. Like you know this. Like you can.
Yes, but he still has to make the play. Like the guy on the other side still gets paid to block you. So it's not like the scheme is going to bring him stats by itself.
It won't be a magic. It won't be a magic win. But it's like, am I going to have to beat a double team, or am I have to beat a guy that's being stunted, a tackle that's being stunted, and following someone else, and I'm the guy, right? Like, there's a big difference.
Yeah, but he's really not. He's not going to be double teamed regardless of the scheme. No one's going to double team Tyree Wilson when you have. You
know what I'm saying?
I mean, I get it, but we're talking specifically about him. So, yeah, you can scheme all you want, but he still has to go out there and show more than he did this last season.
On that, we agree. I love this graphic, and it's been floating around. It could be complete bullshit. I'm not going to spend any time fact checking. We're just going to wildly and flagrantly believe every bit of it because that's way more fun. Most arrests by each NFL team since 2000. And the Raiders have the reputation of, these ruffians. They're always going to jail. They're just the scourge of the NFL, specifically the AFC West. 28 arrests for the Raiders, which puts them 4th out of 4 in the AFC West. Chargers have 29.
Chiefs have 41.
Broncos have
56. They're number 2.
56. Chiefs 41. Minnesota Vikings number 157. Houston Texans. Look at these little angels. All the way down with the least at 17. Less than average arrests for the bad boys of football. Oh my God, I wouldn't send my wife and daughter to a Raider game. Oh my God, the players on the Raiders are just such terrible people.
Yeah, we talked about this a couple seasons ago actually, and they were even higher on the list then, and they've been better at it. Even though, I mean, you want to take a look at the severity of the issues. Yeah, maybe us and Casey's pretty bad.
Oh yeah, Dolphins. And what were the most recent arrests? It was just like dudes drunk falling asleep in their car. Like Nate Hobbs, he just like fell, like not good, but he's not
killing somebody and their kid and their dog.
Like he's not doing any of these like actual victim crimes. Like Jacob
Ruggs was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is the severity of it. That was pretty rough.
That was a big one.
Yeah. That was a big one. Yeah.
No, yeah. That was pretty rough. That's a black guy for sure. But outside of vehicular manslaughter, we're not that bad.
I mean, what's going on in Minnesota? Is that's from the Culpepper regime?
I mean,
is that because like 19 guys got arrested at the same time? Is that why it's so high?
Right? It's just like they buy in bulk in Minnesota, the Costco of crime.
Jeez,
Minnesota.
Holy smokes!
How about the Rams at 18? McVay running just a tight ship. You think he was like a players coach, and no, he's not that strict of a guy. It's like, no, man.
I mean, it's more than McVay. He's been there for what, 5 years? It's everyone else too. That 2000s going back to the St. Louis days.
How long has he been there?
I don't know. 6, 7.
All these cold weather cities. Minneapolis, Denver, Cincinnati, and Jags.
Look,
Kansas
Jacksonville,
City,
I can understand. Jacksonville, I understand. Even the Florida teams, I understand. I get it. Okay, no problems. I understand. But even Minnesota really kind of freaked. Like what, Minnesota? And
it's not even like party city situated. Like L.A. super low, New Orleans a little above average, Atlanta party city very
people
low.
Are getting in trouble in Indy.
Yeah.
All right.
It's basically, well, then you got Nashville in the top 7.
Those are quick catch and releases, though, I think, in Nashville.
Right?
Yeah, those are catch and release out there. Like, listen, young man, we're counting on you to do everything you can on Sunday to help us win.
It's one of those, sir, Derrick Henry, you are hammered. I need you to get back in your car and you drive straight home. Okay? I don't want you to go to the strip club. I don't want you to go to your girl's house. You just blew a .28. You get in your pickup truck and you drive straight home. One of those things.
What was that idiot's name? That he got pulled over and let go, and then he got pulled over again. They found coke and guns and stuff on him. Was it Arnett? Oh God, I still can't believe that happened. I read it and I'm just like, really? Did I read that right? I had to read it a second time to make sure he actually did the idiot thing that he actually did.
I wonder if he thought to himself, like, there's no way I could possibly get arrested twice for the same thing in the same night. Impossible.
By the same cop.
Impossible. Was he just driving around in circles on that cop's beat? How does that happen?
No, I guess he got a phone call from someone to go back and pick someone up or pick something up, or there was an altercation where he had to circle back around to where he was before. Yeah, the same freaking cop pulled him over the second time too. I would do the same thing and shake my head like, oh my God, this is so stupid. You're so dumb.
All profiling. Oh shit, I didn't upload this. Hold please. Hold it amongst yourselves. So underprepared. What am I doing? Hold on. So Davante Adams, a lot of Davante Adams stuff today. He's doing the rounds. I think it's because he's on receiver, right? Netflix dropped. Well, we haven't even talked about that. We should have watched that today. I didn't get a chance to see it yet. But anyway, he's on that new Netflix thing, wide receiver. It's like quarterback.
I got home earlier than I normally do because I didn't go to the gym, because one of my sewers at work lost her freaking car keys. I broke into her car and I was able to get her car doors open and the keys weren't in there. And I'm like, look through the trash cans. Did you throw them away? What did you do when you walked in? But she speaks Vietnamese. So I'm talking through her through Google Translate. 2 hours later, her husband shows up and takes her home.
He can be like, all right, bitch, here's the Uber. I got to go. I'm out of here.
Very frustrating.
You're a saint, Soto. So Davante went on Up and Adam, and I completely forgot this. I knew the Chargers did their schedule release video, and it was like Sims, and they took a dig at everybody. They took a dig at themselves at the end. Like they were watching the video when we play the Raiders at the end. They play the Raiders at the end. It's the 63-7, and he's doing. Who was it that did the first down? They're down 63-7, and it was like.
Is it Palmer?
It wasn't like Williams or a star.
No,
it was just some guy, some dude was just
I think it was
first
Palmer.
Down, and he kind of put his hand down slow, oh shit. Well, that was
what are you doing, dude?
That was kind of lame. So they played that.
In the huddle.
Fair play to the Chargers. They took a little dig at themselves, but they took a dig at Davante, and he took some umbrage of it. Take a listen.
It was a little trend a little bit ago where, few of the social media pages were posting some funny stuff of, when the schedule was releasing. So they posted me and then a trash can or something like that. The Chargers did. So I thought about responding on social media to it and being funny there, but I figured it'd be better to, just beat their head in real life and continue doing it the way, because my first game against them, I don't know, they clearly forgot.
Yeah, you played
10 catches, 141 yards and a touchdown. And then the next time, that same year, it was 177 yards and, 2 touchdowns. I think it was that game. So I just wanted to kind of remind them what they've been going through as it pertains to playing against me. And hopefully the people that made that post, because it's not the players' fault. They didn't have anything to do with the post, but this is directed strictly toward the Chargers social media page. Please keep my name out your mouth and show some.
He went full Will Smith on him.
He's got a long memory, man. He really does. Like, remember the video when he was like, "Hey, you were drafted like the 11th."
He named all the receivers.
Named the receivers, named where they were drafted,
and
what team
in the rounds, yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. And it was like 8 years later, something like that. So he's gonna remember
2 All-Pros later
from a social media like intern from when was the schedule release? April? Whenever it was.
That was mad disrespectful though.
Yeah, I didn't get that. Like trash.
It was because there was like different players and they had like their flavor of Pop-Tart, and his was garbage. Like, whoa, what?
Like, not very clever. Like, when you're clever, I can
see.
The
I can see if it says trash talk flavor, but not. It just said garbage. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, like at least be funny. Sense. You know what I mean? Like, if you're gonna take that dig, like I can. You know when someone just rips you a new one, but they're hilarious with it, and you're like, okay, you win. Like, okay, that was pretty funny. But when you're just like, you're garbage, one of the best receivers in football that completely torched us the 2 first games you played us as a Raider, I don't know.
Maybe it's because Davante Adams works with Taco Bell, and Taco Bell is pretty much like garbage.
That's a stretch.
I mean, I'm all for the inside jokes. But I mean, they have to make sense, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I don't get it. And that's what. And I keep beating a dead horse here, but when it's just falls flat as a joke, it just comes off as like this is like vitriol. Like I always use the example. Why am I blanking on his name? He's got the 4 brothers in Hollywood, but he's like the most famous one by far.
Baldwin's,
right? So Alec Baldwin, hilarious actor. He's like when he wants to be funny, he's great. But his Donald Trump impersonation is so shitty because he hates Trump so much, right? He's like super, super blue that it's like. It's less important for him to be funny. He just wants to like make Trump look bad. It's like, dude, Trump is hilarious by himself. You don't need to just pretend to be Trump and you'll be funny. He's a cartoon character, but he's just like, he does like dumb shit. And you're just like, you're trying so hard to hate him. You're not being funny. I feel like that's what the Chargers did with Davante. It's just like, we just want to, you're garbage. You're bad at football.
No
like crickets.
I mean, yeah, Alec Baldwin is as bad at playing Donald Trump as he is handling a firearm.
Or good, because he did what a firearm's job is to do. You know?
I don't know if he meant to do it, but it happened.
Yeah. Last one. There's a new owner for the Raiders, or at least pending. According to a source from Pro Football Talk, Richard Seymour is going to join forces with Tom Brady in an attempt to secure ownership with the Raiders. Obviously, Tom Brady, this discussion has been going on for months and months and months, over a year now, 18 months, been going on forever. It kind of hurt that a Patriot's going to own some of it, but at least Seymour was a Raider as well. I'm trying to find the exact numbers. Okay, so Seymour, we're told, will join forces with Brady together, and with their own partners, they would own a 10.4% of the team. That's kind of a random player. I mean, he was part of the search for a head coach, right? When they hired Antonio Pierce and and the GM and everything, he was part of that process. So it didn't kind of come all the way out of nowhere, but still feels kind of random. Richard Seymour, part owner.
I mean, so Richard Seymour was kind of on the Gerard Mayo path with the Patriots. As far as like someone that was looked at as, okay, this guy's smart. He wants to learn about the ins and outs of the executive level of things and this and that. But once he got traded, And it was like, I don't know if you guys remember when he got traded, it was like right before the season started. He got shipped out. It was like like almost like a cap casualty type of trade thing. And the Raiders front office kind of like opened their arms to him, like, hey, yeah, you can, what you were doing over there, you can do over here. And he saw all the love with the Raiders. He didn't really see the love on the way out from the Patriots. So he just threw everything in with the Raiders. And I mean, they're not going to keep a guy around in that capacity if he's not good at what he does, or he doesn't show the capacity to do good things in that position. So, I mean, he must be doing a good job.
I mean, great for him. That's awesome. And like, you know, does Mark Davis need more money? Like, it's not really a thing, but just as like a pure businessman, it baffles me that Mark Davis is letting go of 10% of the team. It makes, I mean, it just blows me away. He just like one of the most valuable things you can own in America, as far as like prestige, money, just getting more and more profitable every single season. It's just like, here's 10% of it. And remember, he tried to give it away for like way under market value.
Mm-hmm.
I think he really is a star fucker. He's just like, you're awesome, Tom Brady. Here's 10% of the team to be my friend and sit with me during the games.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't get it.
I mean, look at Marky Mark. When you got that B behind your name, I was talking. I went to a wedding over the weekend, and I was talking with my cousin, who's also a Raider fan, and he's like, we were talking about a little bit about the Lakers, and he's like, you know, it's just that's all they do. It's all the Buss family does is they don't do anything else other than be the owner of the Lakers, and they don't have the B behind their name. And I like my owners to have a B. Not just a millionaire. He wants them to be billionaires. I said, well, Marky Mark has that B. He's like, yeah, that's kind of a shaky B. And I'm like, yeah, that B is for Bitcoin. It's not like for billionaire. It's that B is a little shaky. So maybe he's trying to get some more money into that. I don't know.
Yeah. We got to find a way to convince him we're famous. Just give us like 0.001% of the team. You can hang out with us because we're super cool.
I mean, we'll let you.
Yeah.
We won't prank you too much.
Rivers and Autumn Windbags?
Yeah, man. Let's do it.
So I went all Soto cats on the Windbags because y'all were so interested in Soto's like food fight, but with clothing with his cats last show. It was like we really are like only the third and fourth biggest stars of this show. Your two cats are 1 and 2.
Paulo and Razor.
Sam Demand, thank you so much for being a member. Official Windbag. Ya tierra esos gatos, Juanito. Care to translate?
Basically, hurt like. Go ahead and throw away those cats. Like it's time to throw away those cats.
Mm.
And I'm like, no, man, I'm gonna throw away my cats, dude. These guys they're gonna be making me some money soon. I could tell. I could feel it.
Doing what exactly?
Only pause.
Is that really a thing?
I don't know. Maybe I made it up. I don't know. Are you searching it right now? Freaking sick.
Onlypause.com. It is real.
Is it?
Oh it is real.
No way. I just pulled it out of the thin air.
Onlypause.com. Oh, okay. So it's just it's a domain you can buy.
Oh yes, it doesn't exist. Okay.
But you look at when you type in OnlyPause, like it kind of looks OnlyFans. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit. Well, you start it. The URL, the domain name is for sale.
Sure. Come on, go ahead and buy it.
I think I told you years ago when I had my idea for Strelp, a strip club Yelp.
Yeah.
Because when you go to Yelp for strip clubs, it's just bullshit that doesn't apply to a strip club. You know what I mean? It's like, how's parking? Like, what's the food like? Like, it's just like, I want to know how much can I touch in the back, right? Like, it could be a scummy, cheap one, but maybe I'm into that. You know what I mean? Or if it's like, a really expensive, like $80 cover, but they're super, super hot. Some guys are into that, right? Like, you want to do the bachelor party with bottles.
Where's the tickle meter? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is it one of those places where like they just dance in front of you, you can't touch them? Or is it a quality joint where they're sitting on your lap, they grab your paws and say, put your hands on my boobs. That's why you're here. Like, I want you to have a good time, right? Like, it needs to be like that. So I bought the domain name, strelp.com, and was like bouncing it around in my brain. I let it expire because I just got too busy, but I feel like that's $1 billion idea.
I mean, I'll help you with the research.
That's the thing I knew I'd have for sure, because it'd be just this whole like production crew I'm on that just travels the country going to titty bars. I'm like, we got this.
Like, sounds good.
Patent pending, everybody. Patent pending. By listening to this, we are in a verbal agreement. No copyright infringement. Funky Hair Man. Juan has an endless hat supply to throw at the cat.
I did throw like 6 different hats at him.
You did? I was like, what do you throw? Because it was kind of under the screen. Like, are you throwing something soft like knives? What do you? It's like ninja stars.
I threw 2 beanies and 3 hats at him. Just flinging stuff at him, and he still didn't get down.
Yeah, that's too soft. You have like a bowling ball close by.
No, I wasn't trying to hurt the guy. I was just trying to knock him off the perch a little bit, but he's got no
I think he
time for
knew
that.
you weren't trying to hurt him, and so he's just like.
Even when I yell at him, they just look at me like, "What's wrong with you?"
Reese Britton 6623. I think he has the ultimate answer. Get a spray bottle. Cat problem over.
Then you got wet spots everywhere. No, I don't want to do
better
a spray
than the
bottle.
cat urine that you're usually cleaning up.
Oh my god! Well, it's only that one time. And that problem's been solved, by the way.
Spray bottle also works on 4-year-old daughters, by the way.
Does it? Oh, interesting.
Very effectively. Very, very effectively. All right, that's it for us. Like we said, we are just knocking on the door of training camp. Excited for that. We still haven't decided which practice we're going to go to.
Yeah, that first week's not going to work for me. Or was it the second week? No, the first week. So I'm leaving that weekend for Vegas.
When we figure out which one we're going to, we'll let all y'all know. Maybe we'll do a little meetup or something. Find a little watering hole out there in Costa Mesa by camp somewhere. Maybe throw a party, like a hotel party, old school.
I mean, I know a spot that we can do a party at. We have there's a little cigar lounge that's pretty cool.
Do the Maxx Crosby style? No drinking, just tobacco?
No, I mean, we can probably bring our own in there. I'm not going to say the name out loud now because I don't want to get them in trouble, but we'll figure all that stuff out later.
The Raider way. We'll sneak something in instead of paying full retail. Until then, knock on wood if you're with me.